Hello. How do I make this freezing? You can't. I have to pretend. Well, hi, hello and welcome. Are you here to have a delicious meal with me? Didn't pre-plan how I'm gonna move this to myself, or am I gonna do that to begin with? So this is gonna get interesting. Yeah. What do we have on the menu here today, you say? Well, we have 2 chicken breasts. We have the smallest finger piece that you probably can't even see. They don't tell you the portions, okay? But we have the largest piece of cake. This cake is the only debatable thing. The person we're talking about today, chose either a German chocolate cake or an apple cake. Boy, I just went to the shop and I was like, I prefer apples. So yeah, different sources say different things. And then we have this beauty. Now, did I put like behind the fucking can in the video because I'm smart as fuck? Yeah, I've never tried Dr. Pepper. We're truly immersing ourselves here. We're losing our virginity. I didn't change the outfit into what I wanted to wear. First world problems. I'll be right back. Yeah, this is a true crime video, okay? Nudity shouldn't be a thing, okay? You shouldn't be here because of my skin. Literally nobody. Yeah, now this is more appropriate. First of all, there's a hot dog again, yay! What can you tell about a person just by looking at their plate? Well, I did not know that this thing had 16 grams of sugar, so that can tell you something already. 16 grams in a one can. It's like 300 mils. says her while there's like a huge fucking thing of cake. So yeah, there's a lot of carbs here. I could tell that this person had like, you know, needed this food to comfort herself. This is going deep. But it kind of gives you that, like, you know, I'm actually excited that we are like properly eating today, that we are like doing, you know, something that could be said as a meal. So I think that's kind of the aspect of it as well, you know. It's like homely. Did this person have a happy home? Fuck. Did this person have a happy home? Did they miss their home life and the people that they have killed? No? That's gonna get awkward. Okay, let's dive into this. So today we're talking about Teresa Lewis. Heard of her? Is this thing popping out already? What is this? What is it supposed to taste like? I hate chemicals. Just get out of Coke, but what is this? Don't like it. Okay, sorry Dr. Pepper, this is not a commercial for you, okay? Cool. How did you plan to approach this? You didn't, that's the problem. Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, look at Dr. Pepper, this is not a commercial. Okay, anyways, so, yeah, Teresa Lewis, right? She was a child once. She was somebody's child, okay? She was the daughter to these 2 textile mill workers. And again, we don't know much about her childhood, except that she was always, you know, kind of, her family was pushing her to go to church, to sing at church, so she did that. And then at 16 she decided to drop out from school, to drop out from this church, and just get married. 16. You know, this is going to be a brilliant marriage. And the spices are just right. I don't like this combo though. This is too sugary. Half of this is gonna go down the drain. Just solid hour of my just hating Dr. Pepper. She marries Mr. Bean. His last name was Bean. Didn't catch his first name. I just wanted to say Mr. Bean on camera. And her and Mr. Bean had a daughter. This is a serious video, okay? Stop. This is a serious video. So they have this daughter Christy, but soon they realize, like, yeah, Mr. Bean is not right for her, and they get divorced. And this is the last you will hear of Mr. Bean. This is too chill of a video. So after divorce, she turns to alcohol and painkillers. Not a great combo. But she's trying to again kind of go onto the right path, and she gets employed into this textile mill. She's like, hey, my parents used to work here. How hard can it be? Right? Her legit thoughts. And this is where she meets her supervisor, because he's her supervisor, right? He employs her. His name is Julian Louis Clifton. He was a recent widower and he had 3 kids named Jason, Charles and Katie. So in year 2000, Teresa moves in with her daughter to Julian's house, and in 2001 they get married. This is pretty, I mean, fairly recent compared to like stuff that I used to talk about. Greece, I love it. Soon later, Julian's son Jason, so the oldest one, actually unfortunately dies in a car accident, but he has had 200,000 insurance policy on him, so his dad uses that to buy the house for the family. Right? Is it normal? I don't know. Life insurance, I mean, I guess that's why they're used, right? Now, because everybody apparently in this family loves their life insurance and tells everybody they have taken it out, the middle son Charles actually takes the life insurance policy on himself as well. And his life insurance policy was 250,000. So he names his dad as his primary beneficiary and then Teresa as his secondary beneficiary. And Charles took this like completely normally because he was preparing himself for the deployment from Iraq. So he's like, yeah, let me just take, you know, my life insurance, just anything was to happen to me, let's just like have my family provided for, so like nothing suspicious. But Teresa is aware of this. Now Teresa operated fast, she did not waste no time. So it's 2002 and she's just, you know, shopping at Walmart like you would. But she meets 2 guys. Well, nobody actually explains how this worked, okay? But she meets Matthew Schallenberger and Rodney Fuller, and she begins an affair with both of them. You know, this is the juicy gossip that I would like to know. Like, did she meet both of them at the same time and she was like, hey, let's have an affair, let's have a threesome? Or was it like she met one and then the other one joined? But I couldn't find that fucking information. This is truly important information that the world needs to know, okay? But, probably not. She's now having an affair with these 2 fuckers, and she gives them $1,200 to just buy guns and ammunition, because in her head now, if you remember, Charles took this life insurance policy, but Julian is the first beneficiary, so she's like, if I eliminate one, that doesn't mean anything because then I don't get shit, so I need to eliminate both of them to get that insurance money. Plot. So these 2 fucking poor souls get the guns and they get like the mask and shit, and they actually attempted to kill those 2 like in like a car accident or something, but that fails. So sweet and so tasteless. So Teresa is like, don't worry about it, you just, you know, I'm gonna leave the door open for you, you come while they're both asleep. So they do. On that night it was just the 3 of them in the house, and just in the middle of the night while Julian was asleep in bed, she just got up, opened the door for the 2 of them, and then was just chilling in the kitchen while both of them were killing her husband and her son-in-law. So while she's waiting in the kitchen, Schallenberger shoots her husband in the room, and then Fuller shoots Charles. And Fuller actually realized like Charles was still breathing, so he shot him twice. But Schallenberger didn't realize that her husband was still breathing, so both of them flee the scene, right? And she's in the kitchen, she's like, let me just make sure they're dead. So she chills for 45 minutes, then calls 911. Truly speaks something to the person, because she's just like, they're just in pain, fucking dying. Even when the ambulances come, her husband was still breathing, and his last words were, my wife knows who has done this to me. Let's have some peace here, innit? Let's have some peas in this bitch. Okay. Doesn't give you as much ASMR. I didn't put no salt on nothing for this. Dramatization on point. Now these investigators are kind of like already suspicious, you know, also why would those be the husband's last words, right? So they're like, how come you don't have no blood on you? Why were you not in bed? And she's like, At least I have an explanation, okay? So me and my husband, we prayed before we sleep, of course, like every night. We're such good Christians. He went to bed, but I went to the kitchen because I was packing lunches. Look at this, they're packed lunches. They're evidence. It's like my alibi. It's her alibi. She shows them these fucking 2 packed lunches, and it's the creepiest thing. Because like they say like, oh, I love you so much, there's like a note attached to them, like, I love you so much, it's like, I hope you have a great day, and there's like a smiley face. And the detective was like, great, that's your alibi. She was just 45 minutes in the kitchen while people were killing her husband, preparing these alibi fucking fake lunches. Like packing lunches for the fake work day that he's gonna go to. Stress. Now, on the day of the funerals, Teresa called Katie and she was like, listen, just left a hairdresser, you know, just had my hair done, had my nails done, I bought a great suit for the funeral. And Katie is like, I don't care. My brother and my dad are dead. I don't care that you just cashed out some money to look good at the funeral. Like, are you okay? But she doesn't make huge fuss out of it yet, because she's like, okay, cool, grieving, people grieve differently, right? Cool, she wants to look good at the funeral. Okay. So Katie here is already like freaking out. Then she says like, oh yeah, like, listen, I can sell you Julian's house. Do you want to buy it now? And she's like, they literally just like died yesterday. Can we calm down a bit? You know, you got your suit for the funeral, like, can you calm it? But of course she can't calm it, so the next move that Teresa does is she goes to the bank to cash out this forged check. So the check was for like 50k, and she just goes to the bank and she's like, hey, can I cash this out? It's totally in Julian's last name, isn't it? Right. And they look at the thing and it doesn't match the signature, and they're like, yeah, no. They're just like, no. And while this is happening, the investigators are kind of like now asking around, you know, her family and friends, and they're like, hey, so has she ever mentioned like killing her husband, you know, one day just in confidence? And her friends are like, now that you mention it, yeah, there was this time when she said that if she was to kill both of them, then she wouldn't just get one insurance policy, but she would be the primary beneficiary for both. So yeah, we just didn't go to the police with that. And like, what? Okay, thanks for telling us that now. Super useful. And then these investigators kind of look further into that, and they realize she would have gotten so much money, like she would have gotten at least 250,000 as the primary beneficiary, eliminating both of those people. And they were like, damn, there's like as good of a motive as we're gonna have. So the police here operated pretty quickly. In November 2007, they just present her with all of the evidence. They're like, can you just confess? There's plenty of it here. And there's more where it came from, so we have a pretty solid motive for you. In November 2007, they put her in a room, they just present everything to her, and they're like, just say it, just confess to it, we have everything on you now. But weirdly enough, and I would like to know why you think she did this, she only named Schallenberger as her conspirator. So she said like, yep, that's my co-conspirator, he has killed both people. She doesn't involve the other guy. So whether she was more involved with him, like romantically and stuff, but basically she owned up to it because she never wanted to actually share the insurance money with any of them. She just didn't want the whole guilt to herself, right? Right. So we go to trial, okay? And at trial, couple of things come to light. So people on her defense team testify. There's about like 3 forensic psychologists, psychiatrists that say that she has dependent personality disorder. So that she heavily depends on other people, and then they're like, well, look at her history, you know, she got married when she was 16. Before that she depended on her parents. She always like had to have somebody to depend on. And then they actually kind of test their IQ, because obviously for them not to just be able to like, yeah, I was insane. So her verbal IQ was 70, but then her performance IQ was 79. Didn't know that 2 different things existed, but hey, you learn, you live and you learn. So while that's happening, the other two got their life sentences, and now Teresa's defense lawyer is like, well, okay, the way that we avoid the death penalty for you, because this is going to be big, it's going to make huge news. Like, Eileen was recently actually sentenced to a death penalty, so they're like, listen, they're not going to show you no mercy, so plead guilty to everything, just say, you know, because they have this overwhelming evidence of the motive and everything, just plead guilty. And she's just like, okay, cool, you know what you're doing. But I think, like, prevalently for the jury was the fact that, well, she waited for 45 minutes, she was in the kitchen while, you know, her husband, her stepson were bleeding out to death, and she also took her husband's wallet at, like, that crime scene and then just split all the money that was in there between those two. They were like, hey, I'm definitely gonna pay you up in insurance, just take this money now. And they were like, yeah, I don't care about the IQ, this seemed premeditated as fuck. So at the sentencing, judge says that she was the head of the snake and she gives her the death penalty. And this is because in the state of Virginia, if you kill multiple people within, like, a few years, you're subject to death penalty. Which, again, you live and you learn, don't you? Not just that, but this was also fucked. Like, her daughter, her actual daughter, remember the Bean, Christy Bean? She served 5 years in prison because she knew about the plan but never reported it. What is wrong with this family? What is wrong with the Beans? Mr. Bean was an innocent cartoon and now everything is done. Now, after the trial, and remember how this happened with Eileen as well, I feel like I need you guys to put in the comments what you think about this particular part, but everybody started looking at her as not a victim, definitely not a victim, like they did in Eileen's case. However, here they're like, well, I don't care that she's the head of a snake, there's two gunmen that have actually pulled the trigger. So they start immediately appealing. Shouldn't they have gotten death penalty as well? Like, why is she the only one that got a death penalty? Fuck this head of the snake thing. There's people that have pulled the trigger. The lawyer started appealing immediately, but it didn't lead anywhere because the judge again reviewed the case and they said, like, it was just cold and inhumane because of, again, how she just waited for both of them to die out and how she just took the wallet like it's nothing and just shared money with these perpetrators. They were like, no, she's like the callous one, we don't care. This sparked up like a ton of controversy. There's this crime novelist, John Grisham, that also said, like, well, how can it be that, yeah, head of a snake is more culpable than two people killing the people in cold blood and killing them while they're asleep? And then there was this argument, and this is in every fucking article, so I have to mention it, by an Iranian president at the time, who basically said, like, well, look at you judging us stoning a woman to death because of adultery, because of her infidelity to her husband. But in this case, it's like, you, by you, he meant like Western media. But in this case, you're on her side, you're on the side of the killer, and you actually don't want her to die by death penalty. Ooh, double standards. I'm like, okay, chill. Even Amnesty International, that just opposes death penalty in general, in all cases, kind of like me, opposed and like shared their opinion on Teresa Lewis's case. So September 24th, 2010, Teresa has spent her past few days, well, her last few days singing hymns, and she was really like this motherly figure in prison. Like, people have said she really helped some because of her like Christian belief, or how she was just like singing through the prison and just had like this positive energy, which, I mean, okay, sure. So she was 41 at the time of her death, and well, this is what she chose for her last meal. And I think, again, together with like singing hymns and going back to like what she knew and what she loved as a child, I think this is kind of it as well, like with it being comfort food, with it being like what she actually enjoyed eating, having it as like a proper meal for herself, right? So she apparently seemed fearful around 9 p.m. when she was going into the chamber to get her lethal injection. And her last words were directed at her stepdaughter. That's another thing I couldn't find much on, is like, what happened with her actual daughter? Did she disown her? Because she's not mentioned. She, I don't think, appeared for her execution. When they asked her did she have any last words, she said like, is Katie there? Like, is Katie like behind the screen? And they said yes. And she just said, I just want Katie to know that I love her and that I'm very sorry. And everybody just reported that she was really tense in this chamber. There was 14 people surrounding her, which I mean might have fucking contributed to it, because what, are there 14 people gonna be strapping a woman to die? I just don't get death penalty. Like, what's 14 people gonna do? Where is she gonna run to? Like, what the fuck? Also, what a waste of workforce. So what, like, outside in prison there's just like 14 cars that are in one room while prisoners are just flying free. Like, what the fuck? So with her death at 9:13 p.m. she has joined about 40 women that have died at death row, which is about 2% of the population. So like, the rest is just men. Since 1912 she was the first woman to be executed in the state of Virginia, and she is the second woman to be executed after Eileen Wuornos was executed in Florida, just like in general in the US. So, you know, just if you love facts. People have said this has ended the debate whether she was actually mentally challenged, whether her IQ was that low, or that she was like solely responsible and she was the head of the snake, which she was known as. So yeah, that's the case with Teresa Lewis. This, thanks Teresa. Stop thanking criminals. What are you doing? This was great. This was a great option. Thanks Google or wherever I found this. Anyways, definitely not thanking criminals. Definitely not saying the case was great. The last meal was great. So you see. That's it for the case. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think? Did she deserve to have life sentence like the other two? Did she deserve the death penalty? Did the other two deserve to have death penalty? Like, which way are you leaning towards? Also, if you know what happened to her actual daughter, let me know, because I just find bizarre that she had this connection with like her stepdaughter. I mean, that stepdaughter must think like, why didn't I die? Like, or what if I had shared like my life insurance details with this woman? Also, if you learned anything from this video, don't share life insurance beneficiaries with anybody. There's plenty of true crime cases where this came from, where the lives were ended because of life insurance policies, okay? Don't share it. Don't share it. Keep it like on the hush. Keep it as a surprise to people, okay? Keep those wheels as a surprise to everybody. But yeah, that's about that. Drop down in the comments what you think about the case, what you want me to cover next, what you want me to eat next Friday, and then you can enjoy, you know, some ASMR and the true crime case. Bingo. I have nothing else to tell you and nothing else to say, except I'm gonna go die in like 33 degrees now. For now, enjoy your next meal like it's your last. Boom, that could be a good outro. Okay. Just bye. Just bye.